After a weekend in New York slash New Jersey, maybe the Sharks aren't the worst team in the world. So we're going to break down both the Sharks Rangers and Devils games and see again. Maybe this isn't the worst team ever put on Earth. So all that and more on today's episode.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello. Welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast covering your favorite team in the Bay Area. My name is JD Young, contributor at San Jose Hockey Now, and I want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. Proudly a part of the Locked On Network. We cover your team every day. And if you want to be an everydayer, all you got to do is just follow wherever you get podcasts, or you can watch on YouTube as well. And maybe the Sharks aren't the worst team that has been ever created, a walking abomination. Maybe they're just like okay-ish. And I think that might be the big takeaway as the Sharks played really fun, exciting hockey this weekend, beating the Devils 6-3 on Friday night, and then playing the best team in the NHL and the New York Rangers and making a furious comeback and making that a 6-5 game. So we're going to be discussing that. We're going to look at each game more individually. Before we get into all that, I do want to let you know that today's episode is brought to you guys by Sleeper. Download the Sleeper app. Use promo code LOCKEDONNHL to get a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. So, fun weekend of hockey. This team, they're playing goodish hockey right now. They're playing some of the best hockey we've seen easily the best hockey we've seen out of them all season. And yes, I know they're still not winning a lot of games, and they beat the Devils on Friday night. And that game, the numbers are definitely not in favor of the Sharks, but they won a game. And quick side note, after the Timo Meier trade, just winning one against the Devils feels really good for me, especially just everything that went on with the trade deadline, having to deal with Devils fans in my mentions for basically ever since the beginning of last year, asking for Timo Meier, and then with everything that happened with the Timo Meier trade. It's just nice for this one, where the Devils outplayed the Sharks, but the Sharks, they're getting contributions from Mikael Granlund, Fabian Zetterlund, and Anthony Duclair. And it is good to see these guys playing well. And we'll kind of dig into them, in a little bit here, especially when we look at the numbers. But it's just nice to win that one. I'm sure the Devils will probably beat the brakes off the Sharks here the next time they play in San Jose. But again, it was just nice to win that one. But this team right now, they're playing pretty solid hockey. The offense has kind of come to life, especially since we've seen that Duclair, Zetterlund, Granlund line put together. And this team has been very much a one-line team, but now you can start to see the makings of a potential two lines. Plus, they've been getting contributions from the bottom six, right? With Alexander Barabanov back now, we're going to see, him, Hurdle, and Eklund play well together, and I thought that it played pretty well for the most part against a very, very good Rangers team. And again, we'll look at the numbers here a little bit more and kind of dig into that. But that line I thought played really, really well. And then you're getting contributions from Jacob McDonald, noted defenseman turned forward. You're seeing guys like Ryan Carpenter. That third and fourth line has been playing pretty well for the most part, and you're starting to see some goals from it. And then Kalen Addison, his contributions, you're starting to see it. If the Sharks can continue to get outstanding goaltending, they're gonna be a tough nut every night. And again, that's all we ask for, right? Is just to play good, competent hockey from time to time, and at least see the direction of the franchise and where it's going in. I think you have to be excited about seeing some of these pieces, right? And Duclair, who is a a free agent and has kind of said like, hey, I would be open to staying around. Like having Duclair on this team for the next, 3-4 years, sign me up, especially if he's going to continue to play like this. And once you start to add some more dynamic pieces around, cool. Mikael Granlund, he's definitely a struggle for the beginning of the part of the season, but Granlund's returned to form. And if you remember way back when the Sharks traded for Mikael Granlund as part of the Erik Karlsson trade, kind of digging into his numbers. And, I know last year, especially with the Penguins, was not a good season for him, but if you dig into some of the numbers, like you saw Mikael Granlund could still be a really good player and still does a great job of, distributing the puck and a great passer. And you saw that this weekend, right? I mean, look at that sauce that he put on that for the Anthony Duclair goal on Friday night, where it's just a beautiful, just over two guys' sticks right in Duclair's wheelhouse, and Duclair, banged it home. And then Zetterlund, who's a big piece back from the Devils trade, leading the Sharks in goals right now with 7 goals this season and looks like a brand new man. Like it's fun. And Eklund got an empty net goal. Only way you get an empty net goal is if the coach trusts you out there when the game was on the line. And yes, I know they were up 5-3 at that point, but still, like David Quinn, like Eklund is earning the trust, right? And Hurdle and Barabanov, I think that line, especially with Hurdle coming back from his kidney stones, I expect that, expect Hurdle to kind of get back into things here. And I wouldn't be surprised if in a week or so, if we're talking about the Eklund, Barabanov, and Hurdle line is really starting to find some chemistry, especially with Barabanov coming back from missing 5 weeks now. Hurdle coming back from an injury, and this line really didn't get a chance to play much together before Barabanov's injury. Remember, Eklund started the year like line, the third line, and has been kind of working his way up. So there's really exciting pieces to see here with the Sharks, and don't win too many games. We're still 100% team tank. Macklin Celebrini is going to look really nice coming home in teal. We just don't want Chicago winning the draft again. But it's just good to watch competent hockey. And I think we can put all those David Quinn, is he going to last and stuff? I think we can put those questions to bed for now, because since those 2 games against Pittsburgh and Vancouver, with the exception of the Kraken game, this team has been ready to play for most nights. And you've seen it especially lately, where they come out of the gate and they've been really strong and just maybe can't keep up the entire game. And that's what happens when you're just a talent poor team like the Sharks are right now. But they're playing harder, they're playing good. Need to watch some of the dumb penalties here and there. I thought, especially the first period against the Rangers, again, we'll talk about this a little bit more, but you're putting yourself kind of behind the 8 ball, especially when you're a talent poor team. But again, Quinn's got these guys playing hard. So we'll see. Still dealing with some more injuries here. Some transaction news again before we kind of get into each game specifically, but Knyzhov was waived, cleared waivers, sent down to the Barracuda, so he will go play with the Barracuda for now, which is good for him, right? He hasn't really gotten a chance to kind of play this year, and I think he just needs to get reps. I really, really hope we see like Knyzhov, Mukhamadullin, just a side note, or maybe Knyzhov, Gavanke. But so small thing with that, since he was making over 1.15 million, does have $100,000 cap hit on the Sharks right now. Again, doesn't matter. The Sharks have plenty of cap space. Of course, Jan Ruda and Alexander Barabanov both returned from IR today, or on Sunday, made their debuts, or not debuts, but they made their returns. But then Nico Sturm and Emberson both missed the game tonight with injuries. So we'll kind of keep an eye on those guys, especially, I think Emberson's been playing pretty well, and Nico Sturm is so important to kind of solidify that bottom pair, or that bottom 6. So, and we know what Sturm does on the penalty kill and his face-off ability. So just kind of keep an eye on those. The Sharks really juggling these IRs and injuries, and Luke Kunin going to IR. I think that was on Friday as well. So Sharks are kind of, that bottom six is taking a little bit of a hit right now with Kunin out and Sturm potentially out. So we'll see how the Sharks continue to navigate this. So we'll talk about the Devils game first, and then we'll talk about the Rangers game next here in 1 second. This year, the NHL in full swing right now. The Sharks could score 50 goals combined, or maybe now, who knows, the way they're playing right now. They could definitely win the draft lottery, and you could win big by playing daily fantasy hockey on Sleeper, the official daily fantasy hockey app of Locked On NHL Network. Sleeper is our #1 choice for daily fantasy sports, especially daily fantasy hockey, because with Sleeper, you can win 100 times your cash in daily fantasy contests. All you got to do is just either pick your favorite players, your favorite studs, superstars, whoever you want to pick. So if you want to pick like Ovechkin, Crosby, McKinnon, or if you want to pick Slippery Pete, Anthony Duclair, the coolest guy in the NHL, or whoever, just record more or less than their sleeper projections for things like goals, assists, saves, plus minus, and more in a given game. To win 100 times bet on Sleeper, you need to correctly predict the outcome of 8 player stats. You heard me, Sharks fans. You can win 100 times your money playing daily fantasy hockey with Sleeper. So start paying attention and nail your picks so you can start winning big. Use promo code LOCKEDONNHL and you'll get a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. That's code LOCKEDONNHL. See Sleeper's terms of use for details and locational availability. All right, so let's start with the Devils game, which, again, really fun night to be on Twitter, especially with everything Sharks fans have kind of had to deal with since basically the spring. So, or I guess February. Man, it's been a long time, but interesting numbers again. The Devils easily outplayed the Sharks. Kaapo Kahkonen was an absolute maniac, and the Sharks just took advantage of their opportunities, right? In this game, especially when you score 6 goals on 18 shots, you take advantage of your opportunities in this game. The Sharks had no power play opportunities. So they did all their damage kind of 5-on-5, but I think the thing was just how well they responded, right? Anytime the Devils started to kind of like get a goal, started crying back, boom, Sharks score right away to kind of put the nail on, in the coffin on the team. And, Jacob McDonald, Anthony Duclair, Jacob McDonald, man. I wonder, again, we'll probably talk some trade deadline stuff this week, but you wonder if a team comes calling for Jacob McDonald just because his versatility, what he can do. But anyway, so 5v5 numbers, the Devils, again, 73 to 37 shot attempts. Actual shots was 35 to 17 at 5v5. I think the Sharks got a shorthanded shot or something like that, if I remember correctly. Scoring chances, 42 to 17 in favor of the Devils. 42 scoring chances is ridiculous. High danger chances, 15 to 8. That just shows how much Kaapo Kahkonen was on his game right there. Expected goals for 3.76 to 1.57 in favor of the Devils. Yeah, just like great job, Kaapo Kahkonen, keeping the Sharks in this. So, lines. So Fabian Zetterlund, Mikael Granlund, Anthony Duclair led the way at time on ice for 14-19. Shot again, the shot attempts and stuff are going to be so out of whack just because of again how much pressure the Devils put on the Sharks. So 5 shot attempts, gave up 25. Woof. But 3 shots for 11, goals for 2-1, baby. That is let's go. So that line had 5 shot attempts and scored 2 goals. Brutal. But hockey is a dumb sport sometimes. Expected goals for 0.28 to 0.9, 2 to 15 scoring chances, 2 to 3 high danger chances. Mostly defensive zone starts, especially with Granlund, how well he's been on the draw there. So Eklund, Hertl, Hoffman, 1307. Not as lopsided, 13 to 16 shot attempts. 5 to 7 actual shots, 0.32 to 0.55 expected goals for, 6 to 7 scoring chances, gave up 2 high danger chances, and a lot of defensive zone starts as well. And then we had Giovanni Smith, Ryan Carpenter, and Justin Bailey play as well. And then Jacob McDonald, Nico Sturm, and Kevin LeBanc as well. I did talk to the guys at Natural Stat Trick, and they said with Justin Bailey, until the NHL changes his designation, it's too hard for them to go in there and manually track it. So it's a little bit tough to look at the lines there with Justin Bailey, with Jacob McDonald. So until NHL officially calls him a forward, maybe forward / defense or whatever, not much we can do about that. But let's give Kaapo Kahkonen his flowers, because he was outstanding. So all situations, 47 shots, made 44 saves, 3 goals against, expected goals against 539. 5.39. So yeah, the Devils probably should have scored 5 or 6 goals there. Just for keeping it, if you want to check. Akir Schmid, I don't know, is that how you say his name? Anyway, he expected goals against was 1.57. The Sharks scored 5 on him. So 5.39 expected goals against, 936 save percentage, 3.00 goals against, 13 high dangers shots, 11 high danger saves, 15 to 14 on the mid danger, and then 18 to 18 low danger. If it wasn't for Kaapo Kahkonen, this game would have been an absolute bloodbath, because the Devils definitely took it to the Sharks. Excuse me. Devils definitely took it to the Sharks. But this was just sometimes, I mean, how many times have we seen the Sharks play well before and they get goalied? It's nice to be on the other end of that every once in a while. So, and I think, again, hopefully with Kaapo Kahkonen playing the way he is right now, we can see a more even distribution of the games between Kaapo and Mackenzie Blackwood, because Kaapo has been playing really good for the past couple of weeks. And as well as Blackwood has been playing, and you want to keep running him out there, again, we know with Blackwood's health issues before, like, you don't want to put too much stress on him, especially if you want to maybe turn him, either one of these guys, into a trade piece, or if you want to, keep them, but you don't want to kind of run them into the ground right now. So it is good to see Kaapo Kahkonen playing well. It's kind of weird to be able to kind of put either goalie out and you feel pretty good about it. It's been a long time since you can kind of since maybe the Martin Jones, James Reimer days, where you feel like, yeah, I can run out either goalie, and the Sharks are probably going to be in this game for the most part. As long as they do anything offensively, you feel like the Sharks are at least going to be able to contend, or the goalies are going to be in a position to make you feel like you could potentially steal one. So overall, though, I think, though, from this game, you can't keep playing that style of, getting outshot bajillion shots to none, or shot attempts at bajillion shots to none. But Kaapo Kahkonen was the man, and the Sharks are going to have some fun decisions with Blackwood and Kaapo Kahkonen, especially as we get closer to the trade deadline. But that's for another day. So before we continue, we switch over to the Rangers recap and look at all the fun stats and stuff like that. Just need to take a quick break. If you are out there looking for the next perfect person for your business, that's where Indeed comes in. Indeed is the hiring platform where you can attract, interview, and hire all in one place. You don't just spend hours on multiple job sites looking for candidates with the right skills, but you can do that all with Indeed. And if you hate waiting, because who likes waiting, Indeed's US data shows over 80% of Indeed employers find quality candidates whose resume on Indeed matches their job description the moment they sponsor a job. With candidates, the great thing with Indeed, candidates get invited to hire, to be, hired. So they apply through the instant match, and they get 3 times more likely to apply to your job. And candidates who can only see and search according to US Indeed. Plus, Indeed works hard for you. They sponsor a job, boom, instant match. So it shows you the candidates whose resumes on Indeed fit your job description immediately after your post. With Instant Match, you can start hiring fast. So join over 3 million businesses worldwide using Indeed to hire great talent fast. Indeed knows you're growing your business, needs to make every dollar count. That's right. Within Indeed, you only pay for quality applications that match your must-have job requirements. Visit Indeed.com/lockedon to start hiring. Just go to Indeed.com/lockedon. Indeed.com/lockedon. Terms and conditions apply. Cost per application pricing not available for everyone. Need to hire. You need Indeed. All right. We are back here, Locked On Sharks, feeling good about the direction of the Sharks and kind of what's to come, especially with the way the prospects are playing. Quentin Musty, the big piece the Sharks got back from the Timo Meier trade, looking like a man possessed. But we'll talk. I'm sure we'll talk more Quentin Musty at some point this week because the dude's looking good. Go watch Friday's game. If you get a chance, go watch his game on Friday night, and he was a monster. So anyway, let's switch over to the Rangers game that just happened tonight. And again, the Sharks Rangers really kind of played, pretty close for the most part. Sharks, of course, jumping out to a lead again, and then Rangers kind of crawling back. But then the Rangers, they are one of the best team, if not the best team in the NHL right now. Sharks made them sweat. So, Sharks made the Rangers sweat in this game. So, especially in that end of that game, which is something I'm sure the Rangers will definitely take away and kind of use as a learning experience. But in this game, much closer kind of numbers, especially compared to the Rangers game. And I think this is something you can kind of take away from this game. So 49-11, 5v5, 55-52 shot attempts in favor of the Rangers. So relatively close. Again, Sharks definitely made it a little bit closer in the third period as they were in scramble mode. Corsi 51.4 to 48.6 in favor of the Rangers. Actual shots on goal at 5v5, 31-22. So the Rangers, even though the shot attempts were close, the Rangers were doing a much better job of kind of getting actual shots on net. Scoring chances for 37-30 in favor of the Sharks, especially that third period where they had 16 scoring chances. And then they kind of built on their scoring chances throughout the game, 8, 13, and then 16 again. When you're down by 3, you're definitely in scramble mode there, trying to catch up. 17-14 high danger chances in favor of the Sharks. Expected goals for 3.16 to 3.06. So Rangers might have gotten more shots on the goal. The shot attempts were pretty close, but the Sharks, I think, definitely had more quality. It was quality over quantity, I would say, for the Sharks, and especially that third period where they really, pushed hard. Even in the second period at 5v5, you can kind of, after the Sharks 2 power plays, they earned those power plays, and then they kind of chipped away at it. So a lot of on the backs of Granlund, Duclair, and Zetterlund. So lines for this game: Zetterlund, Granlund, Duclair, LeBanc, Carpenter, Bailey, Eklund, Hurdle, Barabanov, and then it was you had Hoffman, it was Hoffman, McDonald, and then Smith as well. And they were kind of rotating who was the center in that. But 5v5, so Eklund, Hurdle, Barabanov led the way, and surprisingly good numbers for them. So 13 shot attempts, 4, gave up 7. Actual shots was 3-2-3. Goal 4, and gave up a goal. The goal allowed was a little bit of a tough one where, I think you like a little bit cleaner defense in the neutral zone there, but especially the way that it was kind of broken out, and Nick Bonino made a really great play. They do that well, but on their goal though, especially, was in their comeback there, Hurdle with a lot of patience finds Kalen Addison, and Kalen Addison, man, he's really starting to kind of find his groove with the Sharks right now. Made a great play and found Barabanov, who's just kind of hanging out there. So I thought Eklund, I think maybe haven't really seen the production as much as we want at 5v5 right now, but I think he's still making a lot of good quality plays and making his line better. And again, like I talked about earlier, I think when this line starts to gel here and gets a little bit of run together, I think we could see a really nice kind of 1-2 between the Hertl Granlund lines here. So you've got the Granlund lines, Zetterlund, Granlund, Duclair played 10-25. 17 shot attempts, gave up 14. Extra shots was 8-10. 2-1 goals in favor of that line. 134 expected goals for, 115. So 1.15 expected goals allowed. So that line's not the greatest defensively. So I think it's important that you put strong defenders out there with them to maybe kind of help. But 15 scoring chances, gave up 10, 9 to 8 high danger chances. And right now, this line is just on a tear. And I think the Sharks just continue to ride this line until it stops working, because this has been the Sharks' best line that we've seen all year, to be honest. So, LeBanc, Carpenter, Bailey played 906, 15-6 shot attempts. So good, pretty solid from them. 7-3 actual shots. 1 goal, did have a goal, gave up a goal as well. 0.4 to 0.24 expected goals. And then 11 scoring chances for that line to 3-0 high danger chances. So, yeah, I mean, the Sharks they're playing hard and they're playing well. And I think that's all you can ask for right now. Mackenzie Blackwood, maybe not his best night, but it was still, a pretty solid night. I mean, none of the goals that you can really kind of point to and be like, yeah, Blackwood probably had that, should have, you'd probably like that one back. Like, the Rangers are a really good team, and Panarin's one of the best players in the world. And Panarin scores a hat trick on you, man. He's a great player. So 36 shots, I made 30 saves, 6 goals against. Expected goals against was 4.17. So it's not like, looking at like the Devils game from Friday, like the Rangers had a lot of offense in this game as well. 15-12 high danger saves, 9-6 mid danger, and 11-11 for low danger saves. So again, this team, they're at least fun and competitive to watch, right? And that's all we want to ask for. Can we see some pieces that are going to be part of the future, the next great Sharks team? Can you see them perform? Can you see guys who might be dangled at the trade deadline improve their stock? And I think right now you're seeing yes on both fronts. And we'll probably talk tomorrow about some of the potential trade stuff, right? We heard from Elliot Friedman about the Sharks wanting to move some defensemen, which they should. They have way too many, and if Mario Ferraro could be on the way out. So we'll probably chat about that tomorrow. We got the Islanders game on Tuesday. We got a Detroit game on Thursday, and probably also going to spend some time checking on the prospects, as we do here at Locked On Sharks. So make sure you guys are following along wherever you get podcasts. When you are done with this one, go check out the Locked On Sports Today. They're got the first ever 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube. They cover the top sports stories on the day with local experts of Locked On. Plus, our national shows cover every league. Go to Locked On Sports Today on YouTube and subscribe for the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel. Again, make sure you guys, if you want to be an everyday listener, following along wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube as well. You can follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Locked On Sharks. You can follow me on Twitter at MyFryhole. Until tomorrow, bye, friends.